What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Two Sisters, One Book. I'm Carla.
And I'm Amanda. We are two sisters, two moms tackling one book at a time. This is Oliver Queen.
That is Amanda's new cat. How adorable is he? That is her new assistant. So, just so you guys know, the person who actually edits this podcast would be Mr. Oliver Queen over there. He gets paid
Oh,
good money as in some cool cat treats, to take care of it for us. So, yep. I
he's a
love
fun
seeing
little dude.
Oliver. I know, he's so cute. He's so cute. What's his slogan, Amanda?
You have failed this kitty.
I love it. Anybody who's an Arrow fan out there would love that too. So that's pretty
Yes.
awesome. Can you believe we're done with the Princess Companion? This is crazy.
Oh my gosh. That happened so fast. And yeah, I don't think the other books have anything to do with this story. So
No. Yeah, I
But
don't
our
think so either.
theories were completely wrong, like
I love that for
1000%
us.
wrong.
I
No, I
love
loved it
that.
too. I was laughing. I got so excited when we finally figured out the P with Alyssa. I was like, "Oh, Carla, finally!" It was like the last paragraph or whatever, but
I was so excited.
it was fun.
I was getting worried that we weren't going to hear about the P and it was going to be one of those like closed door moments where, they're like, oh, and then fast forward. And, we found out that I felt the P and I was like, oh, I'm just so glad that was included in this story. But as we're reading it, I was like, we're getting to the end. And on the Kindle, it's like, only so much time left. And I'm like, well, this is the last chapter. I'm like, we don't know anything about the P yet. We haven't even seen Alyssa and Max like declare their love for each other. I'm like, this is going to be a closed door moment. I was getting really nervous, but luckily that wasn't the case.
Yeah, no, thank God, right? No, I thought it came really good. Like she wrapped it up really good and everything.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, let's talk about it, shall we?
Yeah. We ended up finding out the whole reason that Alyssa needed to have Princess Marie come back, which was cool.
Yeah, no, that was exciting. So we left off with Alyssa finding something in one of the old books for Princess Marie's like culture and everything. So that was
Mm-hmm.
very interesting how she came in like the nick of time and how everything unfolded. So I thought it was very interesting how what's his name?
Oh,
Arik?
Alric? Auric?
Arik, yeah.
Ulrich,
Uh
I think. I don't know.
yeah, Arik did everything. And it was so funny to find out he used pigeons. Like,
I know.
it's like, oh my gosh, that's so cute.
How did they
Those
normally do it? What did they do? Like send it? What did they say? They send it out with a person on a horse, and that
on
person
a
goes.
horseback. Yeah. And he's all like, no, I use pigeons this time, which is so smart. Like, they've been doing that forever. Like, come on, you guys. But
Well,
did
if you
that
think about
cross my
it,
mind ever? No, that never crossed my mind.
yeah. If you think about it, like pigeons don't have to take any detours. They just fly straight through. There's no like winding around this road. It's like just you can make it
And they're so
quicker.
smart. They're so smart. Did you
Yeah.
know pigeons are so smart?
Yeah, I think I did know that, but I didn't know to what degree.
Yeah, they know their way home. They know if you tell them like, okay, they know two courses, where they need to go and back home. So that's why people have like multiple of the pigeons to go multiple
Ah,
places. So you send one pigeon out and it was probably straight to Princess Marie. So that was kind of cool.
wow. It's got its own personal GPS inside its own mind. So that's cool.
I just thought how it came together perfectly. My heart was racing the whole time, even though we knew exactly what was going to happen at the end. Like Alyssa
Hmm.
was going to get married, but my heart was still racing. I was like, wow, you're cutting it close. Like they're on the day of the wedding. Alyssa's getting escorted out. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, is stuff going to unfold after they get married or what? But no, it ended. It ended the way.
Yeah.
Just gave me
Yeah.
anxiety.
It's true. I was having anxiety the whole time reading it. Like you said, I knew they were going to end up together. I mean, we knew the ending from the beginning. But it's like how do we get from A to Z and how is this path um sort of paved in front of us? And it was very nerve-wracking because I knew that she was waiting on Princess Marie, and I was like, okay, Princess Marie has to get there. She has to get. And I was like so heartbroken when Alyssa was leaving, and Jonas was taking her, and he's like, well, we have to leave the castle because Princess Ava is going to come searching for you, and we know that she's going to use Alyssa against Max to get anything she wants out of it. So it was smart to have her leave. But even as she's leaving, I'm like, uh, what? Where is Princess Marie? And then when we finally see Princess Marie come, I was like, yay, she's here. And then had a whole nother thought come to my mind. And I was like, but what's the plan now that she's here? Like, what? We don't know anything about why she needs to be there. We just know that she was told to come.
Yeah, which it was very curious on how to find out. But let's talk about when she gets there and everything, how fast they get ready. And Princess Ava, she lost her composure. Like even at the ball that she went to, she held it very well, but not this time. I think this time she knew because Max gave Princess Maria a book. Like how crazy is that?
Yeah.
Did you even suspect that the book was going to be the thing that
No,
is
I
like the
didn't.
engage?
Yeah, I didn't suspect it, but I was wondering what it had to do with anything because we do know that a lot of writers will add stuff in, and in the moment you're thinking, okay, what does this have to do with anything? But in reality, it's like this does come full circle back. Um and even like going back to what you just said, I think we see Princess Ava's composure fall because she doesn't have really a plan B at this point. She had all these other backup plans for if something was to happen. Like we knew that as soon as the engagement was announced that she already had a plan for, well, now they can't back out, and I'm going to use Alyssa against Max, and if you guys try to cancel the wedding or the engagement, we'll have a war started. Like she had all of these things to back up any plan that was going to derail in front of her, and I don't think she had a plan to back up this, where if her wedding was interrupted. And I don't think she really knew that there was a reason that could cancel this wedding out. And so we
Yeah.
see Alyssa was smart, too smart for her.
I don't think they really knew her culture. What was her like? What was her kingdom again? Uh,
Northelm or
yeah, I
something.
don't think because even the king was like, "Is that true?" And Max was like, "Oh, is this true?" Like all that stuff. So I feel like it is. I want to say it's like top secret. Only their people know about it. But yeah, the books totally uncovered it, and that's how they did it. Because you're right, she didn't have a plan before that, and she even almost lost everything within that second when she lunged at Alyssa, and her captain Hans, that we find out, hold her back because he even knew like this is going to start war and we can't afford that right now because they have the other kingdoms backing them.
Yeah. Well, and not only is it going to start a war, but it's going to start a losing war because nobody is going to align with you because now you're the one who isn't following protocol. You're not following the way the rules are supposed to be. She had like a meltdown that basically was like, I'm not getting what I want. So now I'm going to do something drastic. And she wasn't able to do that because Hans stops her. But Hans was smart because he knows I can't let her go through with that because she is going to start an entire war. And not only that, we will be the ones who everybody is fighting against. And we see that the fear of being on the wrong side of what all the kingdoms want and who they're aligning with is something serious because, as we know, King Henry was going to have his son marry Princess Ava, knowing that it wasn't going to be anything true. It was probably not even going to be politically smart at this point. And there was nothing that he could do because he's like, we can't be on the opposite side of all the other kingdoms. So now we see the opposite side of it, where Princess Ava is now going to be on the opposite side if she was to go against this tradition, and she doesn't know what to do. So she kind of loses it, and Hans stopped her. So I think that was smart on Hans's part.
Yeah, no, it really was really smart on his part. And let's just say that rule is the most stupidest rule I've ever heard. Like just because the king announces an engagement and then all of a sudden game like everything's off. Yes, he's mine. I'm engaged. Start a war if you break it off. It's like, wait a minute, hold on. But I was
Yeah.
like, he needs to completely get rid of that law. Honestly,
Yeah.
if I was Max, I would get rid of that law.
Yeah. The only thing I could think of is what maybe why it was set is because maybe it shows there's weakness in the king. So if the king was to take back something that he declared to be, then people would look at him as there's weakness in you and you're not keeping to your word, which again, I think is really ridiculous. But if we're going to give this rule any grace, and maybe that's the only reason the rule existed, I don't know.
All right, I feel that one. That was a good excuse. Good excuse. Fine, we'll keep it. But yes,
Uh-huh.
Ava had to bow out gracefully and ditch everything.
Uh-huh.
Like, I wonder
Yeah.
what her
Now,
dad's going to do to her when she gets home because we all know she's in trouble. She's going to be in
yeah.
trouble.
Well, and like, can we talk about for a second this whole engagement to Princess Marie? Why she was technically the first engagement. So just to start, we know that in order to cancel out an engagement, there has to have been a prior engagement beforehand. So um the only way that Max could get out of this rule of an engagement is that if he was engaged beforehand. And you and I sat here and talked about it, I think last episode, and we were like, well, we don't know of him actually being engaged to anybody. I didn't see him physically get down on his knee and get engaged, or his father making any announcements. If anything, his father announced that there was an engagement. So it kind of makes you think, well, what is this engagement? We know that Max, going back previous to all these chapters we'd read before, Max had given Princess Marie a book, and it was about her culture, and he was using it as a way of like, hey, hopefully we can establish some type of an alliance in the future. And I'm just glad that our kingdoms are going to be, working as one. And he put
Hmm.
his name on there and everything, and that was his handwriting. And this was actually used as a technical engagement because, according to North Helm, if a gift is given to another and it's accepted, then that is considered an engagement. What did you think of that?
No, I loved it. I loved every piece of that. And without him even knowing what he was doing, he kind of set himself up for like a protection plan. Which I do know back in the day, like there was some cultures where like if you give somebody and then you accept that gift, then it's like, oh, you're automatically mine. And it's like, wait a minute, what? What just happened?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was I loved it. I loved how she came in. I love that that was her and his thing that they had together, and that's what saved them in the end. And I loved how Alyssa remembered that small little detail of him giving her a book. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, like
Mm-hmm.
that was
Yeah.
great.
It's like God was watching out for him. He was like, you are not marrying this crazy woman.
Oh my
And
gosh, yeah.
yeah, and with Alyssa, it's like she was reading this book, because remember she even says, "Oh, there's this book here that was about Princess Marie's culture and where she's from." And she's like, "I don't know why I grabbed it, but I did, and I know it had something to do with the fact that Max gave Princess Marie this book." And
Uh-huh.
she was probably curious, but it's funny how this book that she happened to be looking at that had, I guess, this marriage or engagement law in there, and then in her mind, she's like, oh, and he gave her this book. So this is technically a gift. It's almost, I pictured it as him giving her like a ring, right? If you give an engagement ring to someone and they accept it, you are engaged, right? So it's a similar concept with the book. He's giving her something and she's accepting that. And even though we knew that there was no true engagement there, but it was enough to cancel out the engagement with Ava, which was very smart.
So smart. And I thought it was the funniest thing in the world. Okay, so I probably read it as the funniest thing in the world because I have Marie's voice in my head, where the queen is all like, "Oh, Princess Marie, I'm so sorry. I passed you up and everything. You're going to make a great queen." And she just like started laughing, like, "Ha, you're crazy. I'm not marrying your son." Like, no, but please don't start a war with me because I'm not agreeing to this law
Yeah.
of yours.
Yeah, I'm
But we
canceling the
all
engagement.
knew. Yeah. And then that's when your pee stuff came out because she was all like, "So, how did Princess Ava know about the pee and stuff?" And Jonas was all like, "Oh, because Clyde was in the forest." And then Alyssa was all like, "Oh, yeah, I thought you guys would have gotten fixed because of the spring." And I was like, Carla finally got it.
And
Yay.
can I also just take a little bit of credit in the fact that I had said it from the beginning. I pointed out that original line where it was like there was somebody in the forest who was watching and it wasn't the animals. And I know you and I both discussed this, but I was like, somebody was watching. I was watching, and I even said this. I have to go back, but I think it was like our very first episode. I was like, "What does this mean?" In this specific line that says that there was somebody else there, and it wasn't just the animals. And I'm like, "This is something." And of course, that's what comes back at the very end of the book. But yeah, I was excited. I didn't expect it to be Claude. I actually thought it was going to be what was his name, Jargus, but or
Oh,
I thought yeah, I thought it was going to be Ava's the guy she was working with
the
that Claude,
lieutenant.
yeah, that Claude was speaking with in the forest. So I didn't expect it to be Claude, but it didn't surprise me because technically that could have been information that Claude would have shared with them to gain some gold. So, now I
Yeah, and
am,
it was.
yeah, and I will say though, I'm a little bummed because we never really figured out exactly the information that they wanted from Claude that one day when Alyssa was spying on him. When Alyssa and Max were out there, and he's like, "I need you to get that information for me," and Claude's like, I'm trying to get close to people, and nothing's working. And then I was like, "Okay, all right, what is this information?" And I don't know if we ever actually got that, but that's okay. We can use our imagination.
Yeah, I feel like it could have been anything, like the defense system. What are the routines for the sisters? Like, because Princess Ava wanted to use, she's like, oh, I could use Alyssa to hold Max accountable for everything that I want. Because realistically, you could do that with the sisters if he really loved the sisters that deep. I
Yeah,
feel like it could have just been anything. But yeah, we see our girl finally get married. That was pretty exciting. And then that was
yeah,
it. They go on their honeymoon and everything, and they do have a great harvest, and the queen, Eleanor, thinks it's because of their true marriage, and then
mhm,
Alyssa thinks it's because she finally fixed her true love. Like, how great is that? We did get to hear the story of, the queen and the king. They forgave each other and they talked it out. Finally, they were adults and they talked it out and they figured it was all just one misunderstanding. The queen told King Henry everything on how she felt and everything. And then he took accountability that it's not just her fault, it's his fault too. And I was like, oh my gosh, finally. Like, why did it take
yeah,
20 years for that to happen?
yeah.
And then they got
Well,
a great harvest.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's everything that the kingdom needed.
Mhm.
But going back to the pea, I was very happy. I was so excited. But Alyssa kept saying, "Oh, the loose spring." I'm like, "Girl, like even after hearing the pea situation, like she hears the queen say, "Oh, I put a pea under the mat." And Alyssa doesn't register that. Like Queen Eleanor basically lays it out for her and says, I went to my fairy godmother and I asked for a pea, and whoever would feel that pea would be my son's true princess. And Alyssa's like, well, I felt a spring. And I'm like, girl, that was the pea. How do you not know that was the pea? Like, put
Because who
two
would
and
have
two
felt a little
together.
pea? It's a little pea, like probably like that big. And she probably felt something stabbing her in the back, like a spring, when your bra breaks up here and you're like, oh, I'm getting jabbed. So just imagine that. Would you ever think that that's a pea in your bra?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
you have some mad feelings right there.
But everybody told her, everybody's like, I laid on that bed and I didn't feel anything. And Alyssa's like, you guys didn't feel the spring? And Princess Marie's like, nope. And Queen Eleanor is like, I put it in the winter castle because I was just so excited. I wanted to test it out. And she left it there. And of course, Alyssa happens to lay on the bed. Now, let me ask you a question. Whatever happened with the butler?
He's probably at the Winter Castle.
Did he
Somebody
not
has
come
to
with them?
maintain it.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
like
know.
he was, I felt like in the beginning it was everybody was like, "Oh, he wouldn't make a mistake." And it's like, where did he go?
He's the fairy godmother. Just
the
kidding.
fa- the
No,
fairy god butler.
I could totally see him. He's like, "Oh, finally everybody's gone. I got my house back to myself. I don't have to deal with them for another couple of months." I don't know what happened to him. I know some people had to stay behind to take care of the
Yeah.
castle and stuff. Maybe that is his domain. He's the butler of the Winter Castle. But hopefully other people stayed with him because man, that would be such a lonely life. Because how long is summer? Is it 3 months or is it 6 months? Like some countries are like 6 and 6.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Are we
I I have a hard time believing that they'd be like, everyone can come but you, Mr. Butler. You need to stay.
You made a mistake. You're fired. Just
Yeah,
kidding.
he got fired after that night. And then
Oh
they
man,
call him and
poor
they're like,
Butler.
listen, you were right. She was the girl she was the
Send a
true
pigeon.
princess. Send
Send
the
a pigeon.
pigeon.
No, I feel like he had to stay behind 4 to maintain the castle and probably a few other ones, maybe.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that
Maybe.
is a good point. Maybe he's the traveler, like he'll travel to the next kingdom and we get to see him in the next book.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
That would be
Now,
interesting, huh?
can we talk a little bit about our theories that were incorrect?
I was gonna say you owe an apology to the aunt and the cousin since you agreed with me. I guess I'll apologize to him too.
I was like, how am I the only one who has to say an
You have to
apology?
apologize for everything. This was your idea.
I will write an apology letter and I'll send it with a pigeon
There you
to
go.
meet
I
them.
love that. I love that. You got a pigeon?
I'll find one.
Okay.
No, but we were very incorrect. The aunt and the cousin had nothing to do at all whatsoever with any of the evil stuff going on. And you know what? You and I can come back and admit these things when they happen. And I think that's okay. Sometimes we just look for things and sometimes they come to, and sometimes they mean absolutely nothing, which this clearly meant absolutely nothing.
But
But
it
you
was
know what?
fun. It
Yeah,
was
and
fun.
it would have made a damn good book if it did. Imagine that, right?
Totally twisted. We'll make our own dark versions of all these fairy tales. We'll put a dark twist
Yeah.
on it. We'll have the
Yeah.
villains win, where Princess Ava would have won. She would have taken over Arcadia. The aunt was helping her, and she's rounding up all these rebels to take over the people. I think we got a good
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. Alyssa's sleeping with Claude and there's all kinds of weird stuff happening.
This is a kid's book. No, she's thrown in the dungeons. Off with her head. Just kidding.
Alyssa's really the evil one. There's so many things that could happen.
Oh,
An alternate Princess Companion spicy edition. That's
what
what that can
if we
be.
could do a what if? What if
Ooh.
Claude did get away with everything and he made it, and then that's how Ava did? Ava succeeded in her mission, and then Alyssa was captured and was held hostage to get Prince Max to do anything that she wanted. The queen and the king are thrown into prison. All these other kingdoms around them become weaker because now she's the most powerful one. And to do it a bigger twist, she takes over her dad's kingdom and she's all like, I took over this kingdom. I'm taking this kingdom. And then she's like the queen of the 4 kingdoms.
Huh. I mean, that would be an interesting read. I would
If
sign up for
anybody
that
buys a
arc.
book or does a book like this, you better mention me and Carla in this because you heard it here first. Just saying.
well, we'll we'll be sure to put like a little clause on the bottom of that.
You better. I better see
But
my
yeah,
name.
yeah. So we were incorrect when it came down to the aunt and the cousin. However, I will say, towards the end of the book, we really didn't see much of the aunt and the cousin. And we also didn't see much of the twins towards the end of the book. Like the whole second half of the book, the twins basically weren't even in it. I think they had like one line at the very end of the book, and that was, "Yay, Alyssa's going to be our sister."
They're so young though. You don't want them in that craziness. They were
Yeah.
probably safe. But yeah, you're right. Where were they during the wedding? Oh, well, they were there because they
Well,
said their line. All right.
they were the bridesmaids. But really, for the rest of the book, we really didn't see much of the twins at all. Like the twins were there for so much in the beginning. And then after that, once Alyssa kind of became a spy, we really didn't see much of the twins.
They were with Nanny.
Yeah, did Nanny get her job back? Is that what happened?
Maybe. The king's like, I need Alyssa. You handle the girls. But
Now,
yeah,
I will say, since we know that our theory about the cousin and the aunt were not correct, how did you feel they fell into the story? Like, do you think that if we took the aunt and the cousin out of the story, it wouldn't have changed the outcome of the story at all?
no, I think they were just a filler character. You didn't really need
Yeah.
them at all. Like
Yeah.
it could even went on by just saying that her aunt owned the blue arrow, and that was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we
Because
really didn't need to go meet the aunt, and we really didn't. I don't feel like we really needed much of the cousin in the story. I felt like his character really wasn't really in it.
but it brought
Um,
out the jealousy of Max. We could see Max getting jealous of even just being around a cousin. So
yeah, yeah, and I mean, I guess they did provide a little separation for Alyssa, so she was able to leave the castle when all the princesses were starting to arrive. But yeah, I just didn't feel like their characters were, I don't know, all that much needed in the story. I felt like, even, like you said, we could mention that she has an aunt that owns the Blue Inn, but I think other than that, we really didn't. I don't feel like we really needed them in the story.
yeah, definitely a filler, probably to fill in the gaps and stuff and kind of make it like a story instead of just like a fast action book, maybe.
Yeah.
But still
No.
enjoyable. I still enjoyed it.
Yeah. Now, let's talk a little bit about the bonus chapter. I know you read the bonus chapter and I read the bonus chapter. And just for everyone to know, we don't we don't come on here to just say bad things about anything, but I know, Amanda, neither of us actually cared for the bonus chapter. And do you want to kind of say why you didn't care for it very much?
It was the exact same thing we already read. Nothing changed except maybe one little detail of him hearing something when Alyssa was getting help. But that was
Yeah.
basically it.
Yeah.
I was rereading a scene of something that I already read. So I was a little
Yeah.
disappointed.
Yeah. Me too. I just, here's my thing. When it comes to a bonus chapter, I feel like we need a bonus chapter to learn something new or to fill in certain blanks throughout the story that weren't able to be answered because of the way that the story was being written. And I feel like if you're just kind of throwing a bonus chapter out there because, you're like, well, here's the bonus chapter, and it gives you a little something. And a lot of times it's, when you're doing a bonus chapter, if it's not in the book physically, it's usually something where you have to input your email so that they get your email, and in exchange for a different point of view character. But yeah, I just felt like we didn't really get anything new. I think that the bonus chapter was kind of just repeating the same things, and even with Max's emotions, I think it was kind of obvious how he was feeling. I don't think I really needed to hear his point of view to understand that he was watching Alyssa and that he had feelings for Alyssa, but he was trying to shut Alyssa out because of those feelings, because he knew he couldn't be with her. And then he follows her to the forest. And we already knew that the reason he ran when Claude spotted them was so that he wouldn't go after Alyssa. So it's not like we learned the reason behind Max taking off. Yeah, I just didn't feel like we got anything new out of it. And I mean, we just try to be honest when we read stories and books about if we enjoyed something or not. And I know we both really liked this book, but we were a little disappointed with the bonus chapter. I was really hoping to get some other information in there.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely don't have to read the bonus chapter because it is just saying basically everything that we already read, except giving it he heard something when he held the traitor down, but nothing really came to what he heard. It's not like they really searched the forest because they were saying it's too dark. And then we just found out that he was in love with Alyssa. He was being mean to try to push her out of his mind and stuff, but we
Hmm.
already knew everything. So that she
Yeah,
she wrote it so perfectly in the book itself that we already knew of his bonus chapter if you think about it.
yeah. Well, exactly. I mean, we knew his feelings, we knew his emotions. And yeah, I think because it was written so well, I think we could have done without the bonus chapter. I don't think it really, again, played much of a, um, you know, it
Apart.
didn't, yeah, it didn't really play much of a part in any of the book. Um, and even when in the bonus chapter, he says, like you mentioned, he's like, oh, I turned because I heard something, but we don't even really hear that in the book. There's no connection from that to the book where you're like, Oh, that makes sense. Now I understand why that happened. It's just kind of something that just got thrown out there as like, well, this wasn't mentioned in the real book, so we're just going to put it out there. But if it doesn't connect to the actual book, I don't know if it's something that really is something we need to know or is going to
Yeah.
make that much of a difference.
Well, because now I have a new theory. What if it's Marcus or his guard, his main guard that was the inner spy, who was all
Yeah.
like, "Oh no, he didn't really tell anything because I was with him the entire time," type thing, you know?
Yeah. I was kind of wondering reading that bonus chapter. I was like, see, this would be interesting if Marcus ended up being like one of the villains. And it would make sense why, when he sat down and he talked with Max and he goes, oh, well, the forest is kind of big. I don't know. We'll do our best. Like, then we'd have a little bit more of a connection piece, and starting to see some of those early signs of betrayal in a character that we didn't know at the time of originally reading it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm curious to know what you guys think. Did you guys read the bonus chapter? What were your thoughts on it? Did you
Yeah,
like it
Aurora.
or
Did you read the bonus chapter? Huh? Huh? I'm just kidding. We love you.
we love Aurora. She is fantastic. If you guys haven't, you need to go check her out. She is the one who had requested that we read this book. So I think we should probably post her social in the show notes, because I think you guys need to go follow her. She has some really great stuff on her social media.
She's an expert on the canvas, so she makes her stuff look amazing. You would love her stuff that she posts. She just has a lot of good book recommendations and book reviews. I think you guys would really enjoy her. She got us hooked on the Four Kingdoms, so now we got to read the other 3 books, and
Mhm.
she's just a great friend to have around too. We are starting our new book. Dun dun dun.
I'm so excited. The
I'm
Dead
excited too.
Queen by Briar
Oh yeah.
Knightley.
It's
Do you want
just so
to?
beautiful, you guys.
It's gorgeous. I love it. Do you want to give a little description of the book to let people know what we're going to be talking about next and where they can get the book so they can follow along with us? Yeah.
This is it. It's a reluctant heir, a deadly secret, a wolf who prowls the shadows of the Fox King's court. Sienna wants nothing to do with the throne she stands to inherit, but a royal summons drags her away from the war ravaged borderlands back into the Fox King's court. Now she's trapped in a palace, haunted by her grandmother's mysterious death, and engaged to a man she didn't choose. Even if her charming fiance is a knight she once loved. When one of the dead queen's wolves is caught spying in the Fox King's court, Sienna begins to suspect the truth of the war is far darker than she imagined. To uncover buried secrets, she must trust the wolf and help him escape north, where the ancient dead queen reigns over more than the living. As corpse wolves stalk the borders and rebellion brews, whispers rise of old fae magic and kingdoms long fallen. Sienna must decide if the wolf at her side is a monster or something much more dangerous, because the North secrets won't stay buried, and neither will the dead.
Ooh.
That's kind
I'm
of exciting.
excited. I know it's going to be good. It's going to be a really, really good book. So I can't wait to read it. I know you can't wait to read it. You guys can get the book on Kindle Unlimited. You can also get the book on Amazon. So yeah, follow along with us. Make sure you guys are reading it chapter by chapter. And yeah, our next episode is going to be the very first episode of The Dead Queen. Also, Amanda, what are your thoughts on, not yet, but in the future soon, doing another This and That podcast? Because I know a lot of people really liked that podcast. It's definitely one of our top ones. What do you think? You think we should do one again soon and maybe just start asking everybody what you guys want us to talk about and give
Absolutely
us
not.
some?
I'm just kidding. Absolutely. Yeah, no, it was fun. Let's do it. We'll definitely give the people more time to answer, because I think the last time we did this, we only gave them like not even a day before we started the podcast again. So if we start it now, then we could have like a lot of good questions.
Yeah. So maybe we'll make that something we'll do either next season or I don't know,
It was the
something. So
beginning of season 4.
Ooh, let's do it. Okay, let's plan it. We're going to make that a thing now. So, the beginning of season 4, we want to do another This or That podcast. But we want to do it specifically for what you guys want us to talk about. So, what we want you to do is go ahead and send us a DM or send us an email. Let us know what you want us to debate over, this or that, when it comes into relation for books. So, a good example would be on our podcast we did before, we did single point of view or multiple point of view. And Amanda and I went in and weighed which one we personally like and why. So, let's do that. We're going to give you guys a whole season's worth of time. Send us over some this or that topics you want us to talk about, and we will do another this or that podcast from you for you next season. So, yeah. But other than that, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about before we end this episode?
No, but we love you guys.
Yes, we do. So thank you again to Aurora for the book suggestion. If you guys have any other book suggestions that you want us to read for future podcasts, we will love to add it to our queue. So please let us know. But yeah, other than that, make sure that you guys are following us. So if you're listening to us on Apple or Spotify, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you like this podcast, share it with a friend. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. You want to make sure that you are commenting and engaging with us. It really helps the algorithm. So make sure that you guys are doing that. But other than that, I guess we'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye.